old man's rant.
Far more secure than others, for sure.
Let's synchronize. And we are here. This is long overdue. We should have done this long time ago.
Okay. All right.
Long time ago. So what do you think about my converted armory?
Yeah.
Slash room slash armory slash.
There are quite a few military hints here.
Yeah, but not only military.
Yeah, and of course there's the Spanish symbol.
The bull.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's a 2.0 bull. It's a bull like modern take.
It's
Right?
it's a devil's bull, isn't it?
It's kind of mechanic. Looks like a bit.
It's
like
a devil's, but this is something that was straight out of 300. And then of course you have the motor Museum of Ice here.
That's me. I did all that.
Yeah, it's the Museum of Ice.
Ice?
Internal Combustion Engine Museum.
Here we go. Oh man, we're going to have a good one.
Yeah. It's, yeah. You know, in about 50 years, your grandchildren will look at, yeah. Oh, I didn't know they did this back in those days. Yeah. Post-climate change, the era, kids. Post-climate change.
Post-climate change?
Yeah.
Or pre-climate change?
No, we are in it. So we can't say we are pre.
Are we though?
Really, oh, yes, we are.
How do you know that, actually?
Australia, in the middle of the desert, they just had bloody, what's his name? 30 inches of, 30 inches. No, it was more than that. It was 40 centimeters of rain. They're flooded.
In the desert?
In the middle of Australia.
Whoa, that's
because their summers last twice as long as, what's his name, that they should have. And their winter season is shorter, all of a sudden. And then they're surprised why they have climate change.
We will never know.
Yeah, and they are great proponents of ice.
They are?
They are. You know, they don't believe there's climate change. You know, they produce them afterwards. What's his name? Carbon, coal, and sell it to China. And here we are. It's a shame, isn't it? Proper shame.
So, you brought some goodies. You brought something here. I want to see it. It's going to be, yes.
Oh, you mean the?
No, not that
one. My favorite friend.
No, not that one.
My beloved.
We do not sponsor
Coca-Cola. I definitely do. Intravenously at that. First and last lover in the daytime, you know what I'm saying, guys? Anyway, but now this is a French bottle of rum.
Why is it special?
Why is special? Because...
What is special about rum in general that is so attractive to you?
Okay. If you didn't get the hint that I'm black, I am definitely black, all right? And half of the reason why slavery took place was so that black people would be shipped across the ocean to work on sugar farms to make this.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's a surprise. I actually don't know.
For a Spaniard, you're shocking me right now. You know that?
At least I recognize my ignorance.
Okay. Let me explain.
And I'm willing to learn. Okay. So I will shut up and let you speak.
Which is quite good. When Spain got across to South America, they discovered...
When they finally arrived.
When they discovered South America,
yeah,
they discovered that sugarcane was a great supply of sweet stuff. Okay? And at one time, I think for a few long years, the sugar loaf was a more expensive than actual gold because it was so rare.
Oh,
Yeah.
scarcity.
Yeah, that's why it's called the sugar loaf.
Scarcity.
Scarcity.
Yeah,
Because
scarcity is a cousin of karma.
because Spain was the only proponent of making it. And in making it, having whipped all the poor old Indians into making it for them, they found that they were running out of supply of labor. Suddenly they started dying of diseases and and they didn't want to work there.
We don't know why that happened.
So they thought, where can we go and get strong, more resilient labor that will produce this bloody product for us? And they had a ready supply in sub-Saharan Africa. So they were shipped across to produce the sugar. In producing the sugar, they also discovered that there was a slight penchant for alcohol amongst the mariners. Yeah, they'd go in, they would leave, Seville. Yeah, the great port of Seville.
My city.
Yeah, they would leave the great port of Seville with wine in the barrels or something that would last long. But what's the cognac? Some version of cognac. What is it called? Ron Vaquero. What's it called in Spain?
Brandy.
Brandy. Some form of brandy. That because it lasted in the trip on the boats. Yeah, and then they found out the brandy once it got across the ocean and started hitting those high temperatures was vanishing very quickly, So they got to the Caribbean.
I kind of can explain why it was vanishing. They were fucking drinking it.
But they had their rations because you need drunken sailors to carry on riding across the ocean.
Yeah, but I can imagine that. My captain. You won't believe it. The brandy is vanishing.
That is true. But the high temperatures in the sea also made it quicker. Okay? So the thing is, Spanish sailors, having been used to drinking brandy on the way into the Caribbean, suddenly found themselves running out of brandy when they finally got there. Right? And they thought, okay, there's no grapes in the Caribbean. What can we make that tastes almost as good and also we can take back with us on the way back? Because thirsty sailors lead to mutiny. All right?
Oh.
So they decided to produce alcohol, called ron, R-O-N. And Spain realized that this thing also fermented a lot quicker than normal wine-based or grape-based products in Europe. So this ron, slavery made it possible. So for a long time, Spain was exporting ron across the world. Now, the English, being such wonderful neighbors, realized how badly the Spanish sailors were at navigating, discovered that,
Here we go.
That's another story, but we're going to say a word.
Yeah, we will get there. We will get there.
They kept getting lost,
Yeah.
So the British started, stealing stuff from the Spanish. It's like a Spaniard suddenly stops at a port, a British body goes, do you know the way to Cuba? Oh, yeah, we do. Round the corner, mate. And then they go round the corner and there'd be Sir Francis Drake waiting for them and, what's the word for it? Relieving them of their burdens. And then the English would say, oh, what's this? What is this dark drink in your barrels? And they say, well, it's rum, rum. And they typed in the British, ooh, we like that stuff. Forget the brandy, right?
Take the rum.
We were taking rum from now on. So they realized that eventually, they could actually grow the sugar cane on their islands, and therefore they were supplying. The British Navy actually had a pint a day. A pint.
A pint of that?
A pint, which is half of this bottle a day per sailor on the crossings. That's what encouraged a lot of people to sail in Britain. A pint a day. And then because it was sometimes long voyages, you would dilute the rum.
Okay, so I thought that an army moved at the pace of the stomach.
Yeah, and its capacity for rum.
The capacity for Alcohol. All right.
Like I said, most mutinies happen when the rum run out.
I see.
Yeah. I mean, you're on the high seas, you're seeing giant 40-foot, waves coming at you. You're being asked to flip in, host the yard arm, bring it back down.
I understand.
You're getting wait for,
I have this around because
that
I've
reason.
been there.
There you go. So when you have people whipping you into motivation, and at the end of the day, they don't give you your rum. I mean, I can understand why there'll be a lot of reticence right there. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what? I've been whipped. I've been made to work for 12 hours and I don't get my rum. I mean, there's something wrong here. You need to redress the balance a little bit, So, yeah.
So basically the way they did it in that time is by keeping everyone drunk.
They kept everyone drunk, or they actually even rationed them to keep them nice and mild and quiet.
So keep them addict to
Well,
alcohol drinks.
they had to be. I mean, come on. The conditions were atrocious.
Yeah, water was terrible.
Water was a no-no for starters.
Yeah,
right?
that's true.
And in the high seas, you can't exactly store water. For what reason? What would you carry water for? Yeah.
Cooking.
In a wooden boat, why would you carry water?
Doesn't matter if it's made of wooden.
Listen, you're on the sea.
I've been in the sea.
Why
I've been on
would
the
you
sea and we
carry-
had water.
Yeah, but this is a modern day, 20th century boat that you're talking about, made of steel and all that nonsense. But a wooden boat carrying water is a dead weight. You don't need water on a boat. Why? Because you're surrounded by it. And you can cook it off.
I see what you mean.
Think about it. Why would you carry fresh water?
To drink it.
No. Why would you carry fresh water,
And
right?
cook it.
Across the ocean to cook? And you're going to put salt in it anyway.
Okay, that one.
You just get... you need cooking water, do you? Don't worry.
You use a particular voice tone that make it sound like I'm saying something stupid. But actually it isn't.
Why would you carry water on a wooden boat?
Well, obviously not to stop a fire, because we do that since always.
Thank you.
You use water from the sea to stop a fire.
Thank you.
But
And you can use the water from the sea to cook.
okay, let's forget about the high salinity index of water in the sea.
Yeah, that's the whole point. It's already got the salt in it.
Well, I don't want to get us lost in this. I mean,
You boil it out, right? You boil out the thing. If you're really clever with your chemistry or distillery, that's what we call distillery, you boil the water out and then you make sure it gets siphoned off into a receptacle where clean water is stored and then salt at the bottom. But remember, why do you need to carry salt if you're surrounded by salty water?
anyways, we will not agree on that one. Now,
Okay, but anyway.
this is going to look like I'm taking the piece, though.
And you've got some of your, wow. This is the reason why rum is better than whiskey. You see?
I tried. I mean, come on, this is 3 months. I've been holding it. I've been waiting for you to come here.
Yeah.
Because we've been talking about doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And I've been holding it. And I actually had to hide this thing out of my view
Really?
because it's so good.
Gosh.
No, that's
Go on.
No, that's disgusting.
It's
You
got
have
what?
to-
It's got coke. It's had only had coke in there.
No, fuck that. Get that away from it.
Unbelievable. Just a smidgen.
We
You
have
can
to
have
share
the
this
rest.
little bit.
You can have the rest. You can have the rest. I'm not a whiskey fan, so I have to warn you. Yeah. You can smell the earth in this one.
What do you
You see?
think?
I've always wondered why people loved whiskey. Why do you love whiskey?
Okay, first of all, I've never drunk a bottle of whiskey complete in my life before this.
Indeed.
Because I'm not a whiskey, or I thought I wasn't.
But you love this.
Yeah.
But if you love brandy, that's not far removed, is it?
I thought I would like brandy, but not really.
Really?
I ended using it for
Cooking.
mostly.
Yeah. It's great on food.
And even if I don't want to use it for cooking, my wife will use it for cooking.
Yeah. Brandy is great for cooking.
Now this, the smell and the taste of the wood, that is what I love about it.
Yeah, it's got lots of oak there, for sure.
I mean, come on. The flavor in this thing is beautiful.
It's not as smoky as I would have expected, to be honest.
Well, you are the
It's not.
expert.
Yeah, it's not as smoky as I thought it would be.
Do you get these oak tones in rum?
Yes. You know why, don't you? The barrels in which it is fermented.
I don't know anything about alcohol drinks.
Wow.
Like literally nothing. You just explain me how they make beer and I look stupid.
Wow. Basically, at modern days, what happens is in America they have a law whereby when they make whiskey, what's the name? Not Jameson's. That's the other one. Jack Daniels, bourbon, and all that kind of stuff. They can only use the barrels once. Yeah. So once they've uncast the
Why?
because apparently for some unknown reason, they need to use new casks, new wood, to preserve the the bourboning. Yeah, because apparently I don't know, American law for some reason they basically said once you've uncast the barrel,
Yeah.
then that barrel must be burnt or sold. So what happens in the world today is that Jack Daniels and all the bourbon makers, Bullet and so forth, sell their empty barrels on to, how can I describe it for you? Rum makers. So they're empty barrels going across the world to rum makers, and I think it's rum and there's some other drink that they make with using these old barrels. And often you'll find a lot of rums taste like whiskies, right? Because they're preserved in old, barrels. So the flavor,
States. That's that one.
from the goes into it. This has been preserved in it was preserved in a rum barrel, whiskey barrel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's why. But there's a special thing about this I will explain at another time for you. All right.
We can actually make one of those bullshit drama moments in which I choose one glass over the other.
No.
Which one will he choose?
He won't.
Oh, the smell is different. Very different.
Very different.
There is no oak here.
No, it's caramel.
Yeah.
You totally go into a different plane of life. But this is a special rum, by the way. Very special. Very, very special. You won't find many rums that taste like this.
Mm.
Like I said, it was designed with women in
Man,
mind.
this thing is good.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's excellent.
Yeah, but this thing put a smile in my face.
Like I said, you may have tasted previous rums like Bacardi or Havana or whichever rums, popular rums are
I
there.
haven't.
You've never. Well, this rum convinced me.
There are so many things. There are many things happening
In here, there's caramel, there's fruits, and it's amazing with this rum. It's,
I mean, don't get me wrong. I love this,
yeah,
but there is only two things happening here: whiskey and oak.
and oak.
Here, I don't know, man. Here is like
It's everything.
Here is like the whole orchestra.
It's beautiful. It's amazing.
A whole
You know,
Belize orchestra
yeah.
playing here.
Caramel, freaking spice here, cardamom, cinnamon, allspice. Beautiful.
Wow.
You know.
Beautiful.
And my intention is to actually buy an original Belizean rum. But the people that do this, funny enough, actually are brandy makers in Cognac region.
In France.
Yes. You know, France has 3 or 4 or 5 different islands where they can make rum. Basically, they currently make rum. Martinique, Guadeloupe, Antigua, some parts of Antigua and places like that. All over their little islands in the Caribbean. Some parts even in Reunion Islands, Seychelles, and other places like that. Mauritius, they make rums there, right? Mm-hmm. However, this particular one, they went to Belize, which is not French territory. The guys that make this rum went to Belize. Now, why did they go to Belize? Because they heard about this particular rum that this local guy makes over there, but there's the local sugar, which again is a different strand of most sugars in the world. So can you imagine? He actually makes his own rum from his own sugar, right? And they thought, oh, well, we intend to be egalitarian people. We intend to be the first brand that actually provides a fair trade rum, because this is why it's called fair, because it's right there, fair trade, right? And basically, they directly pay the producer of the rum from, for them. They make the rum at their specifications, and then they take the what's the name, the fermented, the finished product, take it back to France, to the Cognac region, and ferment it in their local barrels, the Cognac barrels. Yeah, they finished it off over there. Now there's one that they made. This one is the extra old, which is equivalent to 12 years old. It's not exactly 12 years old, but it's equivalent. Right? Mm-hmm. Because again, one of the beautiful things about rum is that...
Yeah, you say that once. The aging is different.
The aging is very different because it's raised in tropical climates. It actually ages quicker.
Not in Scottish shit weather.
No. That's the reason why whiskey is whiskey, because it's born by the sea. It's actually fermented by the sea. So the sea air and the peat and everything else gets into the whiskey. You know?
Wow, this thing kicks like a mule.
But because you've had this and you've had that, you know.
Can I have a bit more?
Lena is enjoying herself right now back there. You know that.
Oh yes.
You know.
Wow.
You know, but
it's funny. What she was telling you when I went to Colombia.
Yeah.
I tried aguardiente antioqueño, which is a particular brand of aguardiente. I don't know how you say aguardiente in English.
Well, diente means...
agua ardiente, like boiling water. But you probably just call it...
ardent water, which is basically, Holy Spirit.
It's a white spirit.
Yes, well, I wouldn't call it white spirit. It's more... what's the word that we use? Eau de vie.
It's transparent like water.
Yeah, of course. They all are.
You drink that and it doesn't taste very strong or anything. Yeah. You don't feel much. 5 minutes later, you need a taxi.
Yeah.
With just one
ultra powerful. With all alcohols of that nature, you can guarantee.
Oh, Colombians, mate.
Yeah, you can guarantee that. But you'll always find nations that produce...
Look at this. Now it smells different from the first one I took. Why is that? I mean, obviously not very different, but they are like different tones.
Remember, you had the whiskey in your tongue.
There are a lot of things going on in here. I like that.
Yeah.
It's very complex.
I think it's you should have used Coke to wash away the whiskey.
Coke? No way. That's something I don't understand about you. So you are... We could fairly say that you are an expert in drinks. You actually invest in some particular drinks.
Yes.
And then, yet you make them, you mix them with Coca-Cola. I mean, what the fuck, mate?
Because it tastes great.
No.
It does.
That has to be a crime.
How?
It's the original flavor. How do you mix that with Coca-Cola? I mean, come on.
It depends how you look at things. Me, if you are, what's the word for it? Classist, right? In terms of your drinking style.
I am a classist, yeah.
You
And not only that, I'm a Spanish. So I tend to
Makes no
think that
difference.
my way of thinking is the way everyone should think.
I am sure there's a Scottish gazer out there with the same view. Don't put anything watery next to my whiskey, right? There are plenty of people like that. I mean, don't get me wrong, some of them are aristocratic snobs and, or you can call them all kinds of names. You can call them all kinds of names.
Thank you.
But
they will not know, they will not get that one. Not yet, but we will arrive there.
But the point is, I think you should drink what you like. I'm a more of a world view on things.
Yeah, what works for you works for you.
Yeah, and I think for like I say, slavery is attached to the making of this drink. But one reason why I love rum is because that's the reason why one of the reasons why this was called slavery. But one of the good things about this rum, I mean, any alcohol that I like, why does he accompany Coke? Because it works well with Coke. I used to be a barman, so for me, one of the most motivating things about working behind the bar was to find out what went well with Coke.
It's linked to slavery, but you were telling me the other day this amazing story about how why they freed the slaves.
Yeah.
You told me this whole story.
The economic reason for freeing abolishing.
I never thought about it, and you say that it all started in the Industrial Revolution.
Yeah.
How? What do you mean? How does it start at that time particularly?
Well, think about it. 1779 or 76 thereabouts or 73. Arkwright invents the hydro-powered machinery to make cotton, cheap cotton, right?
Yeah, cheap
it
cotton.
becomes immensely rich by using so many mills, right?
Yeah.
Then eventually that went on to become something else. The point is though, when he was doing this, he then realized that the workers didn't have the means to purchase his products. Yeah, they could never have the means to purchase these products.
Yeah,
so
the market was actually smaller than the production they were.
Thank you. So therefore, what do? You have to look at, okay, I've got this machine, I spent a lot of money on it, and no customers, right? The only customers I have are middle class so-and-sos, and they only buy seasonally, right? So I need customers that are going to buy more to justify keeping the mill going. Otherwise, they might just do the thing with their, by hand, right? So what do? You need a customer base. Now you've got your workers there getting paid pennies, right? Literally pennies to make these rolls of cotton. The point is, though, you can't exactly pay them more money because then the rolls of cotton become more expensive. Therefore, you don't have any customers that you have now. So what do? You increase your market base. You force your workers to buy your stuff.
How?
So, you basically tell them, listen, I'm not going to pay you in in actual pounds and pennies. What I'm going to do, what's his name? You can go to the local store in the factory shop, buy your stuff that you need to sustain your life so you can carry on working. You know what I mean? You need bread. Oh, yeah, I've got the baker. You can buy the bread from my factory store for almost twice as much as you're getting paid. So you're constantly in debt.
That's evil.
Well, that's how the factories worked in a good old British history.
That is not capitalism.
It is capitalism at its worst.
That's not capitalism because there is no freedom there.
There is freedom.
No, there is no freedom. You have to buy it. You have to buy it in the store. In my store, that will charge you double. That's not freedom.
But it makes sense.
One of the particularities of capitalism is competitivity.
Uh-huh.
So
Yeah.
so one of the things about capitalism is that it is competence.
There's competition.
Competition.
Yes.
Yeah, but that's not allowing competition.
You don't need competition if you're you're a monopolistic person, because
The
monopoly
monopoly
is the ultimate expression of capitalism.
Well, maybe in that time, but
No,
not now.
anytime. Think about it.
How?
You're a capitalist. Your purpose is to create wealth for yourself at the expense of all others.
That is a very pessimistic way of looking at.
It's capitalism.
But how is that related to freeing the slaves?
Okay, think about it now. You need a market. Okay? You've got this machine that you started to build up, and then and then you find that you're making the cotton so cheap, yeah, and available to certain market. People come and ask you, how the hell do you make that cotton so cheap? Yeah? And then they say to them, well, I've got my factory. And you go, can we visit your factory? And you go to visit your factory, and you find out that there's a machine, that this is worked by a river flow in a mill, and the river is turning this machine, powering these mills. I need to study this. And then, of course, he decides that, hold on a minute, I'm not going to allow people to come and spy and find out how I made this machine. I will sell them the machine, because you make more money from selling the machine. It shows them the business model, which is get yourself some cheap labor, get yourself a nice river mill somewhere, put the flipping, machines there, and within a year or two, you pay me back the money that you owe me, right? Done. You understand? So Arkwright suddenly becomes richer purely for selling the machines.
That sounds a bit like a Ponzi scheme.
No, it's not a Ponzi scheme at all. I've got the monopoly on these machines. I'm distributing the wealth and creating potential competitors, right? So imagine I own the patent on this machine, and I'm selling my machine to these other guys out there. Eventually, what these other guys will do is copy my machine or improve upon it, and have their own patents for it. So in the 5 to 10 years that I have owning that machine, I've got to maximize my profit. Again, capitalism. Just to point that out. So I've got the monopoly, I maximize my profit. So I sell as much of my machines as I can, knowing full well that I will be creating my own competitors. All right?
How that connects to freeing the slaves?
Okay, it's about economy of scale. Yeah? To justify upping production, yeah, you need to have a market to whom to sell. Now, Europe has a limited supply of people willing to buy your stuff. Okay? In those days, that's what it was. Because, like I say, poverty was still in place. The feudalist systems were still going on, right? And very few people could afford to basically buy the basic product. Only the rich, the middle classes could afford to do it. So when you have such a static customer base and you're still churning out these vast amounts of material, who are you going to sell to next? You understand? So you need to find a way to enfranchise the poor into this. But Europe was still raging wars amongst themselves, and all these other bits and pieces. And of course, Spain and England were fighting elsewhere. Yeah, 12-year war between Spain and England. Really, we know 2 armadas, blah blah. You know what I'm talking about, yeah? So now we get to the 18th century, 19th century thereabouts of, and they're no longer using water mills to run the machines. They're using steam, right? So steam makes it even better, more reliable, and you don't have to be shackled to some outside city center location. You can bring it inside of town, right? So you bring it inside the town now, you got all these machines, and you're using even less labor. But who do you sell this stuff to?
Yeah, I understand
It's
that.
a huge problem.
Because the
right?
industry revolution was precisely that, a revolution.
Exactly.
The methods of production were completely, they were outmatching the market.
The market. So basically, you paid for this machine, and you have to make it worth your while. But if your customer is not there to purchase it, what do? So the only option, the only real option, long term, finally, is to look at this population of slaves that you suddenly purchased across the ocean to go and make you the rum, right? You look at them and you think, okay, we've got these farmers that won't let go of their slaves, right? Because they're getting the labor for free, zero cost to them, right? How do you get the farmers to buy the shit, right? Or the machines even? How do you get them to, you show them that, yes, the machine's there for you, blah, blah. But the farmer says, why should I replace my free human labor for your machines, right? and then the guy goes back and goes, I can't convince the guy to buy the machine, right? Because he's got free slaves, right? What I'm going to do, I'm going to campaign to free the slaves. And Wilberforce is a Christian, loving kind of guy, the inhumanity of slavery, blah, blah. And you will find in the histories, the amount of people that actually supported Wilberforce in Britain to abolish slavery were all industrialists, by and large.
So you are saying that they started the movement to free the slaves because the slaves were
potential customers.
And also they were doing the job that their machines could do.
For free.
Wow.
Civil War in America, same reason. How can you sell a machine to someone who's got a flipping slave doing it for him? How do you sell a robot vacuum cleaner to somebody when you've got a human being cleaning your flipping floors for you for nothing?
For free, yes.
So
I wouldn't have a Roomba if I had a
slave cleaning.
Slave.
Yeah, exactly. So how do you do it? So what you do, you basically say, okay, release the slave. It's not humane to what's his name, to have slaves. It's out of order, blah, blah, It's against human rights and everything. We must recognize them as human beings and their potential. And their potential is money, all right? They can generate capital, okay? Wealth. So basically what you do, you tell the farmers, another way the British did it. This is another true way the British did it. The British government said to the farmers in the West Indies and all this, those plantation owners, the farmers, told them straight, listen, if you give up your slaves, we will compensate you for each one of them, and we will pay you that money ad infinitum, basically. We will pay you that money, £1,000 per slave, and until it's over. Do you know one of the biggest disgraces of the British government is that the last payment that was made to a British plantation owner was made in 1996?
What?
There you go.
1996.
They were still paying
plantation owners. Over there.
Well, they used to be. They live in Britain. Those families, they lived in Britain. So those plantation owners had slaves. They registered all their slaves, right? They registered all their slaves.
Oh wait.
Even their own offspring.
It gets better.
Yeah.
Those plantation owners have what? Peers here.
Peerage, lords and ladyships, all kinds.
You kidding me?
Even the royal family.
That's outrageous.
Even the royal family was involved. Come on.
Okay, hold on a second.
Uh-huh.
Why I haven't seen a penny?
What do you mean? I haven't seen a penny where?
I haven't seen a penny.
Well, your family... you're Spanish. The Spanish didn't abolish slavery as quickly as the British did.
Shit.
In fact, it was basically taken out of them. They didn't have... slavery went on for a lot longer as well. In the Spanish colonies.
To be honest, I don't even know.
Yeah, they actually went independent because of it. So you know what? You're not gonna. The slaves from the French territories are coming back saying, "Hey, we're free, and you're still slaves." You know, so you can imagine, all right? You know, the son of a slave, the descendant of a slave, Bolivar, what's his name, went on a campaign around, you know, Nicaragua, you know, all these places, and really, you know, went independent. The Spanish at the time couldn't fight it back because, hey, the British had the control of the bloody seas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know,
And
slavery
we
was
were
taken
fucking
out.
useless.
Yeah, well,
We were fucking useless.
you'd lost everything by that time, you know.
Yeah, well, the last colony was the Philippines in 1898. The disaster of Philippines. We call it the disaster of the Philippines. But to be honest, I don't
Philippines
trust.
were not exactly crying over it, you know what I'm saying?
No, they weren't. I don't trust Spanish books anymore because we are told such a
It's strange
huge
history, isn't it?
amount of bullshit.
Propaganda, yes.
It's bullshit. It's just bullshit. Like things like, yeah, well, Spain. A Spaniard invented the submarine. Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yeah. We were talking about this one day.
Yeah.
So we have things like the submarine. Yeah, that's Spanish.
Yeah.
Tortilla. That has to be Spanish, right? Come on, that's Spanish. Salami. That's Spanish. Wait. Salami. And salchichon. Salchichon. Isn't there a city in France called, or a region called Saucisson?
Yes.
There is where I started to doubt. Like, it's hilarious that one opens his eyes to reality because a stupid thing like a food, like a dish, a typical thing, right?
Yeah.
And then you start. You know, that's a principle. You can apply the principle to everything.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
okay, well,
So
wait a second. That tortilla is actually frittata.
Yeah.
It's Italian.
Yeah.
Jamon is prosciutto, which is Italian. Shit.
And
Pisto is ratatouille,
yeah.
which is French.
Yeah.
And no, we didn't invent. I mean, Isaac Peral didn't invent fucking submarines. He designed a submarine that worked with electric batteries. That's
Yes.
true.
Yeah,
But
that was
that is-
groundbreaking. That was ahead of its time.
Yeah.
You gotta
yeah.
give that to him. It was ahead of his time,
Yeah.
you
But
know.
Tesla didn't invent cars.
They did not invent cars. No.
Yeah, they invented electric cars. Well, and they didn't actually invent electric cars. They just made a better electric car.
Well, yeah, because you know the car itself, the concept of the car was invented way before the ICE engine.
ICE engine? Internal
Combustion
combustion.
engine, yeah, way before. So the first cars were actually steam, then electric.
Yeah.
But because electric didn't last long, and you kept on have to, you know, you needed to recharge it. They'd have to push it back to where it came from.
Yeah, that sounds
and so
familiar.
forth. You know, so you know, like I said, there was a lot of problems with electric. You know, in fact, even America during the time of Ford, what's the name, making the Model T Ford, there were electric American cars out there, but they didn't last long because of all the infrastructure problems. Again, combustion engines came in, they released them from all that stuff, and we thought, we're free, we can go anywhere we want, but at the same time we're killing half the nature in so doing. But that's besides the point. We've now lived 200 years of ICE engineering. It's time to go back to relook at the map and go look at electricity and say, oh well, developments in electrical technology has actually come forward leaps and bounds over ICE. Leaps and bounds, you know.
The thing about Spanish history books is they are full of shit.
Well, I mean, I've never had the pleasure of being educated in the Spanish environment.
Well, for instance, the origin, the starting, the triggering of the Civil War. I was discussing this with my family.
Yeah.
In Spain, obviously, it's not a discussion. It's basically. I mean, I don't even talk about these things anymore with them because they will expel me out of the family. Because I try to explain that the things we learn, the way we learn them, is fake.
It's biased.
It's completely biased.
Yeah.
Like, for instance, the Secret Service of the British Secret Service were involved in transporting Franco from the Canary Islands to Morocco to take control of the regions and then invading Spain.
Yeah.
But that is not in the Spanish version.
No.
The Spanish version is more like
The
Doctor
savior.
Strange thing, in which Franco suddenly shows up there.
Yes.
And nobody knows.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, the fuck, he arrived there.
Like a savior, he emerged out of nowhere,
So, and like this is everything relating to Spanish history.
Yeah.
When I came here, my first job was at Buckingham Palace, and I had the honor of working with a guy, Sam Fimbo. We were at the very end of Constitution Hill,
Yeah.
where those pillars,
Uh-huh.
those pillars to remember people who fought for the British Empire.
Yeah.
He was telling me the way the British Empire, which we can discuss, but is better, way better than the way we Spaniards used to do things.
Well, maybe that's a bit of propaganda that we
No,
need to search
no.
more.
Not because the British Empire's way was good, but because our way was fucking horrendous. Like, for instance, people
you were brutal.
But people were starving on the street because we are terrible administrators. Like, if there's this joke that says heaven is that place where British are the accountants, Spanish are the cooks, and Germans are the engineers.
Yeah.
And there is this place which is hell.
Yeah.
The English are still the accountants.
Yeah.
The Germans are the cooks.
The Spanish are the engineers.
Right? We are terrible at managing things, admin things. We are terrible. So people were starving in the streets. So imagine that you are, 15, 20 years old, and you live, maybe you are lucky, you live in Madrid, and you can beg.
Yeah.
Because the empire is growing and everyone is getting rich, but everyone who goes away.
Yeah.
No one who stays in is seeing a penny.
Yeah.
Right? So, and these recruiters used to go to the cities, to the different districts of big cities.
Yeah.
And they were telling these lies. That's, by the way, that's how they still do it. When I joined the army, it was very similar.
Yeah.
Right? So these guys will go and say things like, you are here, you can imagine, you can picture it. You are here, you are begging, you don't have food, you don't have wine, you don't have water, you don't have anything, you don't even have where to sleep.
Yeah.
Come and join the tercios.
Yeah.
You know the tercios?
Yeah.
The third army divided in third, companies divided in third, regiments divided in third.
Yeah.
The tercios.
Yeah.
The thirds.
Thirds, yeah.
They were an elite group of soldiers.
Yeah.
Massive, vast.
Yeah.
So you will join the tercios and go with them because you are going to be rich, and you're going to get lands, and you're going to get gold, and you're going to get all this shit.
Yeah.
And that's amazing because it's way better than what you have now. That is nothing.
Yeah.
So if you fast forward in time, 6 months later, you are in Flanders, right? And you are starving. You're fucking starving. You are frozen to death. You're being chased by the Dutch.
Yeah, they hate your guts.
They hate your guts because all the things you already have done and all the things you are going to do probably.
Yeah.
And it will be hilarious. I picture it like this. This same guy shows up. Hey, you were the guy that was recruiting me. Yeah. How are you enjoying the time here? All the things you say were bullshit, you. Remember when I say that you will have lands and gold and you will be rich, etc. It was bullshit, actually. It was fucking with you, man. You are in the middle of nowhere. You are as fucking poor as you were before.
Well, you're in the army at least.
No food, no water. Not even dry gunpowder that you can use to shoot your way out of this.
It is Flanders. It's mighty cold in the winter.
You are fucked. But look, there. That's Breda. That's a Dutch city. You know what?
Yeah.
They don't believe in God like we do.
Yeah.
They don't believe in the Virgin.
Yeah.
So you go there, kill everyone.
Yeah.
fuck everyone.
Yeah.
Well, you can be selective with that one. Burn the city,
Yeah.
and maybe you can live for another week.
Or collect as much gold and pillage the place and whatever.
And that's how we
Yeah.
manage the empire. Oh, come on, it's a beautiful example of how bad we are at everything.
I'd say it's fairly standard. Romans did it. Egyptians did it.
Yeah, but the difference with the Brits is when the Brits invaded. Now you are part of the British. Wait. I actually bought this for this. Now you are part of the British Empire, and now you are British. You are not Indians. You are not South African. You are not. No, you are actually British.
Yeah.
So we can go to Britain. No, you will be a fucking immigrant. You stay here, but you are British.
Yeah, there is that aspect of it. But, you know.
Yeah, but the thing is, the official policy was to make the world Britain.
Yes.
So if you were conquered by the British, at least you at the very least you were British.
Yes, to an extent.
If you were
yes.
conquered by the, you said once actually that we were the worst people to. I mean, if you were going to become,
I have to be honest.
for all the possible conquerors, we are
yes,
the worst.
Yes, I think you look back at your history and you know, if you were a potential candidate for invasion and they give you a choice. And they gave you 4 boats, you know, and one was French, one was German, one was English.
That will be a hell of a show.
British,
Hey,
you know.
you are going to be invaded now. We have 4 candidates and you have to choose.
No. You know, what's the name? Take Us Over is the name of the show. Take over. And the people must vote for who's going to be their invader.
Who do you want to invade you? Dun, dun, dun.
You know what I mean?
That will be a hell of a show.
You know, and then you have the Spanish turning up with the cucaracha. Yeah, ole, yeah. What about the people that you, I don't know, persecuting in South America? We don't talk about that very often.
No, we don't talk about that. They died because of malaria.
Natural causes.
Natural causes. Only the men.
Yeah.
It has to be. There must be a disease around there that
yeah.
only kill the men and leave the woman pregnant.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
That's not exactly a great advert. I mean, the people will be like, no.
No.
And then they ask the French, and the French, we are lovers. We go everywhere, we fuck everything, we don't mind. You know, you become a French citizen. You don't come to my country, but you stay where you are, and blah blah. And
we kill you, but we say sorry.
We supplant your culture. We don't care about your problems. And then the British come along and they go, well, you're British citizens, and we'll give you a form of democracy, but only in your country. You know, that's it. But generally speaking, I figure in the stakes of colonization, you'll probably find that the British would probably win most votes for, take us over, please.
Take us over.
You don't want these other people. The German, unfortunately, with their language, what?
Well,
What did he say? We are great engineers. We do everything correct. I don't think so. They won't be interested.
which one are those?
The Germans.
Your Germans are very funny.
The Germans, nah.
I mean, with that language,
that's not going to work.
it's not going to work. No, with that language, so difficult to learn now.
Number one, and number two, they like to be on time, and local invasion candidates will be like, "What?
You have to be.
We have to wake up. What? We have to be on time."
You are late, dude.
What is it?
100 lashes for being late. Oh.
Yeah, that's not gonna work, man.
No, it's not going to work. No.
Nah. So,
The guy in charge of punishing people will have very strong arms.
very, very strong arms.
Boss, I need a break. I mean,
It's
Too
true.
many.
It's so true. The Germans went in Africa. I tell you one thing, why they didn't win Africa? Because unfortunately, their attitude to life just doesn't match with what the locals want. It just doesn't. The language is tough enough as it is, but they have, prescriptions to everything just don't work. So, when you have people that have been accustomed to waking up whenever they want, they sit there and wait for a mango to fall into their laps. Work? What do you mean? What is that concept?
Yeah, by the way,
No.
I haven't heard ever of a Caribbean guy thinking, yeah, let's go to invade someone else.
Well, they weren't exactly kicked out for it, if you know what I mean.
No, what I mean is Caribbean people are very relaxed. They have a very nice way of life. Why would they go to invade someone else?
Well, first of all, you're right. Number two also is that it's so fucking hot. Yeah, so fucking hot in the Caribbean. That I think something to do with the radiation from the sun. You get up, you're like, okay, let me go and look for the fruit. Okay, it's 9 o'clock. It's still 25 degrees outside. I can make it to the market back in time before lunchtime.
I think you're missing a big part of the picture there. And my wife, who is Colombian, she was telling me they are mostly fishermen. They wake up very early. It's not that they are lazy.
No, they wake up.
They wake up at 3 in the morning and they go to fish.
Because it's cold. It's cold.
And that is when they go to fish. And then obviously they have to sleep.
They come back
Fucking
before
hell,
that
they
time.
have to sleep, of course.
They have to come back before lunch because by that time.
And they
the
still
sun
do
is
it
there.
like this.
Of course they do.
She was for 6 months almost in Capurganá or Trigana, something like that, in the Caribbean coast.
Yeah.
Virgin coast.
Yeah.
No developments anywhere.
That's it.
They still have this very, very basic, beautiful way of life. They wake up very early, they go to fish. Then obviously
Relax the rest of the day.
of course.
Yeah.
They are already provided.
But the thing is, it's a basic lifestyle. Like I said I was talking to her about third world countries and the GDP and all that kind of stuff. Some people, it depends how you look at your life aspirations. Most of us from the Western world dream of going on holiday to a nice virgin beach, white sandy, paradise type, environment where there's no disturbance. Parakeets land on your shoulder and sing you songs and blah blah. There's still that vision in most humans that that live in an industrialized world.
I can't relate to that because I'm a mountain guy. But.
Yeah, you're a mountain guy. But like I've said, there's an idyllic view of living somewhere where you don't have to, you're so relaxed. People in islands are always viewed as having been a better quality of life. Yeah. And it's true that quality of life does not match better GDP.
What do you mean?
Well, you'll find people that have a good quality of life don't generate enough money.
Just the one they need.
Yeah, they sustain themselves and that's it.
Oh.
Yeah, and the only time that doesn't apply is in places like Switzerland.
Maybe they are happier.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Quality of life, if you know what I mean. Quality of life is that.
Don't know, man. I'm getting hammered with this.
Quality of life, actually, makes you less willing to seek better wealth, better wealth, better economic situations. And a lot of countries, like say, what's that country that's in the mountains somewhere between Nepal and Himalaya? What's it called?
Nepal?
No. There's a country there, the Sultanate of something, and it's an isolated country. You can only get to it by air, And they've been like this throughout, history. Isolated country. They negotiated with the British and go, yeah, we can, you can protect us. Don't just carry on as long as we get to live our lives.
Protectorate.
Yeah. Well,
right.
They were protected by the British.
That's nice.
But the point is, they kept the status as a kingdom, and I've forgotten the name of it now. Brunei, not Brunei. I forgot the name of it now. Anyway, the point is that this particular kingdom has remained the same throughout history. Static. stable. Yeah, they don't have Wi-Fi like we expect Wi-Fi. They don't have, but they have something. Some technologies arrived there in some way or another. They've got there, but their quality of life is so much better because, hey, they're not worried by the stresses that we have. You know, they have a wonderful environment to live in, blah blah. But they're quite unique that way. Do you know what I mean? But like I said, when you're dealing with numbers, huge numbers like what we have, population numbers, then you have no choice but to industrialize, because that's the only way you're gonna get out of this never-ending cycle of poverty. You know, it's just about marginal sustenance, and then come back again, poverty. You know, and it's never-ending. You know, that cycle. So you need to industrialize, and if you don't industrialize, well, you remain where you are, and people starve, and people, you know, miss out opportunities.
We were talking about choosing candidates to be conquered. But put a bit more of that. No,
Yeah.
not that one.
Okay.
Not that one. So that one entering this house just because it's you. Sugar does not enter in this house.
Unless there's rum involved.
Well, that's not sugar. It's rum.
Rum is made of, all alcohol is made of sugar.
I don't want to look too much into it. So you were talking about candidates to be invaded by. But in the case of Spain, you first have to arrive there. And another thing that we read in history books in Spain is that we were amazing sailors.
Oh yeah, you were.
And we have museums. We have expositions just about how good we were at sailing.
Absolutely.
And now that you have a different view on it, you say that it's bullshit.
Well, let me put it this way. let me put it this way, right?
Spanish people, Spanish Navy, they were great sailors.
Let me put it this way. The French, they don't say many things about some of their sailors, but at least they got where they wanted to go. All right. They wanted to go, and
Son of a bitch.
the English had Captain Cook, you know, and several others. They even went as far as Australia without getting lost. All right, I mean, let's put it that way.
That has merit. Respect for that.
Yeah, they went all the way, even New Zealand, south. They went. We were going south. We're gonna go and find these motherfuckers that live at the end of the earth. We're going. Anyway, they still went, right? The Portuguese, your lovely neighbors. Oh, I don't know. Maybe it's propaganda, or maybe it's the roll of the dice. They've been very lucky, the Portuguese. They're bloody sailors, right? I mean, mapped the whole of Africa, went across to Far Eastern Asia, went along the Indian Ocean, right? Went along, discovered places like the Philippines, even Japan. Those bloody Portuguese did that, right? And then what did the Spanish do?
That doesn't make us look good, right? I
When
mean,
you think about that, right? You know what I mean?
I just thought about it. The Portuguese did all that
Vasco da Gama and then several others.
while we were basically, as we say, scratching our balls.
Not quite. You did the next best thing. You hired an Italian.
Who?
Well, Christopher Columbus.
He was Spanish.
He was Italian.
No. He was totally Spanish.
He was Italian.
From Spanish.
From the kingdom of Genovese. Genoa.
No.
Yes, he was.
Not if you read Spanish books, he was Spanish.
Yes, yeah. He came out of Genoa, and you know it.
That he went to Genova, but
Genoa is not in Spain, is it?
no, but he didn't. He came from there, but he was.
You had to hire one foreigner to show you the way to ride your boats across.
Not really, not quite. First of all, he was Spanish. Second, he told, according to our version of the history, he told the Catholic kings,
Queen.
the Catholic kings, the Catholic. How do you call the couple? The royal couple.
The royal couple, yeah.
Oh, the royal
But
couple.
it was mostly Elizabeth that, what's her name? Isabella, is it Isabella?
Isabel and Fernando.
Yeah.
Tanto monta tanto.
Yeah.
Isabel como Fernando, which means they are both in charge.
Yes.
And she's the fucking boss. Actually,
She was the boss, yes.
I imagine Fernando saying, "No, she's the boss. She's the boss."
Have you seen her temper?
Speak to her. Yeah, exactly. Have you seen her temper? No.
Yeah.
And she's not even in those days. So
Yeah.
just talk to her. And apparently, according to our version of the history that we learn when we are kids, Christopher Columbus was Spanish and had to explain to them that the Earth is not flat,
Yes.
but it's a sphere.
Yeah, but imagine, how come it's only one Spanish person that says that? Where did he learn that from?
School.
What
Now-
school? What school?
Yeah.
What school?
Yeah. Well, I can tell you,
Go on.
was Padre Manjón. It's a Catholic school. Well, it has to be Catholic because it has the name of a priest.
Are we talking about the uber Catholic state of Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah? Believes. Remember which heretic in those same period said that the earth was round and nearly got, sidewinded by the church of the Roman Catholic Church
But
for saying something like that.
that is bullshit because
What
we
was his
know.
name? What was his name? Who was it that said the earth was round?
I don't know.
It was during the Renaissance period.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. He said that. He was a heretic. They called him a heretic because he proved that the world was round. But one Spanish person out of all these uber fanatical Catholics, including Isabella, he managed to convince Isabella that the earth was round.
But
That's amazing.
that whole story is bullshit.
Guys, it's bullshit.
No, it's bullshit because we know the Earth is a sphere since the
We
Greeks.
now do. We don't.
Since the Greeks.
No.
Yes, the Greeks measure. The Greeks measure it using the shadow.
Yeah.
They did that already.
They
And,
did-
and the
yeah.
scientists of the court
Yeah.
of the kings,
Yeah.
they told them, and this is documented anyways.
Yeah.
Look, what this guy is saying, of course they knew already it wasn't flat.
So why did he take a priest from the Roman Catholic side of things to say and publish in his own books that the earth was round? Because the church didn't believe him. They called him a heretic.
Well, the thing is, that version of the story that we are told is full of shit. The king and the queen already knew it was a sphere.
It was a sphere.
They didn't think it was flat. They were the fucking kings.
Well,
They were the royal family. They had a lot of money. They had a fucking country. They had a lot of resources. They had a court and they had scientists. And the scientists knew, look.
but where were
it's a
they
sphere.
getting their knowledge from?
What do you mean?
Remember the time when Columbus got sent to investigate whether or not, there is another route to the East Indies. Yeah, was during the time of the Renaissance. So Italy had a huge influence in educating the rest of Europe about science and chemistry.
You're just trying to connect this to the fact that Columbus
It's
is
Genovese.
Spanish, anyways.
Genovese.
Of course, it's Genovese, but that's not what we are told. We were told First, we were told when I was a little kid that he was Spanish. He's actually buried in Seville.
Is what?
He's buried.
Buried in Seville. Of course he is. He's a hero to you guys.
Yeah.
It's the only Spaniard, Spanish navigator that done anything.
Here we go.
I'm sorry.
My point is that no, they didn't think the Earth was flat. What the scientists told her, particularly her, because she was the boss,
Yeah.
is like, look, this guy might be right,
Yeah.
but his calculations, his numbers are wrong,
Uh-huh.
because we already know the diameter and the radius, obviously, that has been estimated for this
Planet.
Earth.
Yeah,
No,
planet.
probably they didn't say planet because they didn't have a concept of a universe. It's way higher than what he's thinking, what he's
Might be,
considering. So his journey is going to be longer than what he thinks.
Yeah.
And whatever he finds, if it's not a lot of water, who knows what's going to be?
Yeah.
Might not be what we are looking for.
Yeah.
Right?
So why invest millions into his adventure?
Because in her head,
Yeah.
so I reckon. Look, they say a lot of things about the patriarchy system, but we had queens in that time.
You had one or two.
We have had a lot of queens in Spain.
Yes, you did.
And she was fucking smart.
She was smart.
And she had she was wearing the pants.
She did.
Yeah, and she said, okay, so basically, you are telling me that this guy will either find a bunch of water
Yeah.
in a very long trip, or he might find land. And that land might be the land we want to connect to without paying tariffs, or a new land that is going to be ours to exploit.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer, motherfucker. Sign the guy in. Of course, sign him in. It's a no-brainer. I would have done the same. What I don't understand is how the Italians passed.
I think she was motivated by the fact that there's her cousin in Portugal was going. Isabella, yeah, you know what? We just discovered Guinea. We founded a new colony in Guinea. It's on the west coast of Africa. It's a lovely place. Look at the ivory. Look at the gold. So Isabella, what are you doing? And Isabella was going. And then Vasco da Gama sends back another boat saying, "Oh, we have found a place called Angola." Yeah, Angola. Ooh. Look, Isabella, look what happened. Vasco just sent this over. Look, and Piri Piri. Oh, you need to know about Piri Piri.
And she went, okay, call that Genovese guy, sign him in, and someone give him a Spanish passport.
I don't give a fuck.
Someone give the man a Spanish
Call that
passport.
motherfucker over.
And taking a fucking shit. And actually, he went with 3.
There you go.
Brilliant.
But you can imagine the jealousies around when they meet up at the old royal party, event. What are you doing tomorrow, Saturday night? Oh, we're just going to France, and France is sitting there going, "Oh, mais oui, ma chère cousine, Isabelle, how is your empire going?"
Funny story.
You can imagine, huh?
Funny story is that my side of the family actually. So it's Isabel.
Yeah.
So if you go from Isabel back,
Yeah.
8-9 steps.
Yeah.
That's my ancestor, Ferdinand.
Yeah.
Ferdinand de la Cerda. Because when they were born, and this is a trait of the family, which is true.
Yeah.
Because I have baby pictures and I have a lot of hair.
Yeah.
We are born with a lot of hair.
There you go. See.
De la Cerda means because it has a
crown.
strain,
Yeah.
a strain of hair.
Yeah.
So this guy he died in 1275, and his brother took the crown instead of going to the 2 little kids because they were fighting the Muslims.
Yeah, that's normal. It became a regent.
They were fighting the Arabs.
Yeah.
And they were in the middle of the Reconquista, the reconquering of the Spanish Peninsula, the Iberian Peninsula.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the crown wouldn't go to the kids. It went to Sancho.
Yeah.
I call him Uncle Sancho.
Yeah. Yeah.
Motherfucker. And Uncle Sancho is actually the ancestor of Isabel.
Yeah.
Yeah. She descends from him.
Yeah.
My side of the family had to escape.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah, because it was a kind of Game of
butcher.
Thrones moment.
Wow.
Yeah, it was a Game of Thrones moment, totally,
Wow.
but without dragons.
Oh, well.
Well, depends how much you drink. There were dragons.
Yeah.
And so one of them, the oldest of the two kids, he tried to recover the throne.
Yeah.
The younger one, that's the one that went south to Huelva, where my whole family is.
Okay.
Took the original Picard surname and changed the coat of arms with 3 wolves.
Yeah.
Removed them and put the goat. Now it's a goat.
Okay. Why a goat?
Because apparently it's a
It's a shepherd region, is it?
no, it's a symbol of being very macho and very
a goat.
Yes. How do you say viril in English?
Viral, yeah.
No, not viral like a virus. No,
No, viral.
Yes, like you are very macho and you.
goat.
Yeah. Oh, so you have a coat in your a goat in your coat
3
of arms.
wolves for a
So you
goat.
must fuck a lot. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So now it's that. But it used to be 3 wolves and.
That's a bit of a come down, to be honest.
Yeah, it's a calm down. Yes. So that part of the story of the family is kind of cool.
Yeah.
What happened afterwards? That's not that cool. Now, because they kind of they weren't just enslavers. They were.
Oh, they did what they did to do it, isn't it?
They
Man is money.
managed the fucking show.
Yeah.
They were the governors of Dominica.
But also, don't forget, Seville is in the region run by the Picards.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, you saw a lot of slaves come by, didn't you?
I don't know about that.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
Hombre, ¿cuántos tienes ahora? What the? When are you shipping them out to wherever? Oh, yeah.
I can't be a hypocrite.
Look,
I understand why.
You got a lovely church out of it, though, I must admit, in Seville.
Yes, I understand why people is outraged now by the things that people did in the past.
Why? Why are they outraged?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
Because they were terrible things. When you look them, no, they were terrible things. Period.
Yeah, but those were those times. Come on, we're now in the 21st century.
Yeah. Now with this, I want to go to 2 particular things. Though.
Yeah.
So one of them is the statues.
Yeah.
I understand. I don't approve, but I understand why people is pissed and take the statues down, and they want to remove them. But if you remove statues, you don't learn the terrible thing that people did.
True.
So instead of removing the statues, what you have to do is to tell people a story.
Yeah.
Like in Spain, we had this same conversation.
Really?
And it didn't go well.
Okay, what happened?
So what happened in Spain is that President Zapatero, which is an embarrassment in economic terms, he came with something called the Historic Memory Law.
Okay.
The law of the historic memory.
Yeah.
They're trying to fix all the things that
Franco did.
Yeah, but you can't remove the things that Franco did like that.
No.
That needs acknowledgement first.
Yes.
Right?
From the supporters of Franco.
From the supporters of Franco. And also from the other side, because the left wasn't, I mean, everyone had, there were several parts. Everyone has to recognize what they did.
Yeah, what you should have done was the Truth and Reconciliation thing.
Like they did in South Africa.
Yeah.
It's not, okay, it never, that didn't result in the best results, right? But at least people got to sit and look at each other and recognize and accept we did these things.
Yeah.
Okay, we are sorry.
Yeah.
We have done these things. We are going to try to fix it.
Yeah.
Because we have to live together. We want to live together, so we are going to do these things. But in Spain, we didn't. We just passed the page.
Most European countries don't never practice that anyway. Most European countries never do it anyway.
Now, that's one thing. The second thing is, you can't be a hypocrite. I mean, not you. I mean, in general, people, you can be hypocrites. So if you live in the year 1700,
Yes.
and you are a Picard,
Yeah.
you are an enslaver.
To some extent, yes. If
Yes.
you're actively engaged.
You are benefiting from it.
Yes.
You are not going to go all William Wallace, like social justice warrior.
Yeah.
Like, no, we have to free all these people. And who's going to work the fields?
Exactly.
Oh, fuck, that's true.
Yeah.
But I guess we can't.
There you go.
So don't be a hypocrite.
That's true.
I mean, obviously you can protest for things, and you can dislike things and the way they were done,
Yes.
and you can refer to them as a historical clue that leads you to learn
Yeah.
and develop a way of thinking,
Yeah.
etc. But don't be hypocrite. No, I think the history of Germany, that's another one for another time.
It's one for psychological books, but you know.
Absolutely.
I mean, if it's anything, the Second War brought out was the fact that what's his name, racial difference became the focus for the raison d'être for a war. That was the, that was the main reason for a war. You know, why would there be a war for economic reasons? You know, there were how can I say, causes, but why would you have a war purely based on race? It's very unusual. Very unusual
Not
war.
only that,
You know.
I mean, one of the reasons, if you think about it, Hitler put a lot of resources
Yeah.
in the final solution.
Yes.
And that story is one of the biggest dramas, real life dramas we have ever had. It's so dramatic. I'm surprised nobody has done a fucking Netflix show about it, because
Well, what?
he was hinting this from the very beginning.
He never denied it. From Mein Kampf, you listen.
The final
you
solution.
see that in Mein
The
Kampf.
final solution. He was throwing these clues. Like, seriously, every step. We have to do a program just about this one day.
Mein Kampf.
No, the whole drama, and I will explain you because this really needs a long explanation, and then you may actually agree with me that this will be the best drama ever written. How this motherfucker planned everything.
Yeah.
But the thing that I don't understand is how he focused so much of the power, the output power of the country, the nation, into the final solution. That is actually one of the things that stopped him from winning the war.
Of course.
Two things.
Yeah.
One is the final solution. The second is invading Russia.
Of course.
Had he not done these two, he would have won. Yes, 100%.
Probably not. No, not in the long run.
100%, because
It has stayed longer.
Remember, he was developing the atomic bomb.
Yes, but remember,
He would have done it earlier than the others.
It could have.
That
done it
would
before.
be the man in the high castle. Like, you
It
know that
could
show,
have.
right?
Yeah, no. But it could have. But the problem was he was already at war with what's the name? Britain and America. So when you have those two powers against you, regardless of whether or not you decide to invade Russia, invading Russia was like an Achilles heel. It's like Napoleon, right? If Napoleon hadn't invaded Russia,
The same.
you and I would be talking French right now.
I can make a few jokes about that.
By the fact that you're a Picard, what's your excuse, mate? What's your excuse? Come on. You got no excuse. You're a Picard. And where is Picardy? Yeah, it's in France. All right, so let's settle that argument. But the point is, if Napoleon hadn't invaded Russia,
Yeah.
he would not have found himself being thing. But I find this with every major genius military leader. They do the one bad decision that depletes all their resources, everything that undoes everything that they've ever done. Alexander decides to go and invade India.
Yeah.
Yeah? What happens there? They all catch disease. He dies somewhere between Syria or India, so one of those two places, loses major wars over there. However, he did leave his genetic material over there. I'm
everywhere.
Yeah, he just left some of it over there. But the fact was, he failed. He died. And he was in his 30s, he died. For 10 years of plundering and creating such a huge empire, he ends up dying. And all the things that he's done sort of fall apart. You look at, what's his name? Julius Caesar. Or, the Roman Empire. They go to, what's the name? They go to invade, what's the name? What place? Britain. Yeah? They have to invade it twice. The first time they go, they fail. Then the second time they go in, they stay. But they can't take the whole of Britain because too cold, too much effort, blah, blah.
Yeah, for what?
Exactly. They stop at Scotland, Hadrian Wall, and they go, you know what, we can't take this anymore.
Yeah, they don't even make good whiskey.
Do you know what I mean? And they see these people they call savages, but these people are clever. They're fighting from you from the mountains, and they're taking a piss. And the Romans must be thinking, God, what am I doing in now? Such a goddamn cold place. Eventually, they stop right there. You've got every major empire that you care to name. They do this one mistake that unravels everything they create. And like I said, Napoleon was one of them. You've got, what's his name? Hitler. Same bloody mistake as Napoleon. Instead of consolidating your gains, and maybe trying to make peace with your rivals, you carry on. But there's always that one mistake. Why do they do it? Especially in modern Europe. I mean, never before did Russia Russia been attempted to be invaded twice by Western Europe. Twice. What do you think the Russians think of us?
Fucking losers.
Yeah. Wait till winter comes. And they know that winters are harsh.
Russia does not negotiate with Europeans.
Who needs to? We just have to withdraw, leave Moscow as a wreck, fuck off down to Siberia, wherever. We're used to the tough colds and all that stuff. Let the Western Europeans come with their little Bahama t-shirts.
Meanwhile, they are partying in Siberia.
There you go. So, why would Western Europeans make that one mistake? Why invade Russia?
Yeah.
There is no point to invade Russia. It's a huge goddamn piece of land.
We are talking about historical fuck-ups.
Mm-hmm.
Probably the Spanish Armada.
Well, I mean, that...
that's not in the history books in Spain.
Of course not.
That part is we kind of cut the biggest forest, biggest even than the Black Forest in Germany, bigger than that.
Yeah. We created our own desert.
Monegros.
Yeah.
Monegros, which means that it's a
Black
Mount.
Yeah.
Black Mounts. You couldn't see a thing because it was so dense. And they cut it down, and it's a desert now.
Well, of course.
It's the biggest desert in the south of Europe.
Spain has created its own climate change.
Yes, by cutting down. There is this saying that in the past, a squirrel could go from the north of Spain to the south of Spain without touching the floor.
That's right.
Touching the ground.
Yes.
But we kind of deforested the country by building not one, two Spanish Armadas, and both failed miserably.
Like I said, they needed to get what's the word they use today? What's the word is used? Outsource. The Spanish needed to outsource, but they were too proud. They hired Spanish captains instead. Like I said, navigators.
Here we go.
You should have just said, "Oh, yo, Christopher, you got a brother down there, mate. Come on, mate. We need you for this Armada."
Oh, it was hilarious.
The irony as well, the irony of it, the irony, which is even better, right, is that they take the boat along the coastline, get permission through France to go along the coastline of France, go around, and they can see the British coast. They can see the British coast as they go through the channel, yeah? They can see it, right? They can see the coast. But they say, nah, let's go and relax in Rotterdam because Spain owns Rotterdam.
They had to pick up more troops
from Rotterdam, right? But imagine, they now got the troops on board in Rotterdam. They don't even take a flipping Dutch navigator. And they're in Rotterdam now, and there's a fog going on, right? Where is Britain?
Hey, I have to say, I've been sailing in the middle of fog, and even with
it's
today.
What the fuck? Can you imagine, yo, Sancho? Did we not see rain on the way here? Yeah, it was last summer.
No more for you.
You know full well, mate. How the hell can you miss England? You're sitting in Rotterdam waiting for months. Yeah? You get the troops on board and the fog happens and you still don't know where England is.
Look, sailing in the middle of the mist, fog, dense fog, is very difficult.
I absolutely agree. However, right? When you see a coastline 20 miles away in the summer shining back at you, it's like being in Calais, right?
What summer? This place is like Mordor.
Come on. You look at Calais, right? You look across from Calais to Dover, and you don't know how to get to Dover. That is the most endying statement in the history of mankind. I mean,
well, it's kind of strange that they were able to arrive to Rotterdam, but they weren't able to cross.
Good question. That is unbelievable. The Vikings did it repeatedly every summer.
Maybe
and spring.
Was because of the rum.
Yeah, maybe.
Sancho is drunk. What's your job? Infantry. Doesn't matter. Give him the wheel.
I'm telling you. When you look at the messages between the Queen and the captains, arguing with each other, and then he said, "Oh, let's wait. No, you need to go. Nah. It's okay.
The worst of these, particularly the second one, is very well documented.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's fucking embarrassing, man.
Yes, amazing. How are you going to get to England? Well, let's just keep going along the coast.
That is... So, do you know what...
They even ended up in Scandinavia. Some of the Spanish.
That's army level.
Amazing fuck up.
That's army level.
Amazing.
They could make a sitcom about the Spanish Armada going around. And they arrived to Ireland.
They're getting to Ireland. I mean, can you imagine?
And I think that's why my wife has Spanish and Irish blood at the same time in similar proportion.
Yeah. But when you look at where England is, facing the North European coastline.
Just in front. No, sure, Sancho was drunk. Sancho was
You can imagine the Queen of England.
Just in front. Just go straight that way. Let me sleep.
I can't believe how you can cock it up like that. England is there, you get to Ireland, and then you get to Scandinavia. It's like, how the fuck did you do that?
Yeah. So whoever took the wheel just kept sailing around.
Basically,
And
we
they
can't-
arrived to Ireland.
Listen, they even ended up in Denmark and Sweden. That's
Yeah.
how bad it is. That's where they get the dark hairs from.
But what happened when they arrived to Ireland?
Oh, well, what can I say about that? Come on, come on. A bunch, you land on a beach with full of ginger people. Yeah. Hey, hey, McEwan, what's this, that? The ladies must say, ooh, he look nice. I'll take care of him for you. Took off his clothes. Ooh, Sancho is big, isn't he? Look at him. He's a big guy. And Sancho's like, oh, mio, mio. Yeah. And the poor Irish girl says, everybody go home. Give him some air. Had a good time.
A few months later, Sancho was in prison for being Spanish,
Nah,
for being an enemy.
Sancho wasn't even imprisoned. Sancho stayed and died in Ireland. He was getting a lot of attention from the locals. Believe me.
Oh.
I'm sure Irish don't like to talk about their past too often, but I bet you.
Oh. Irish were Catholic.
Absolutely.
The Spaniards were Catholic.
And,
They kind of understood each other.
well, one spoke Irish and English, and the other one spoke Spanish. There's only one language that needs matter in between there.
But look, at least, after all these things that we talk about, go there, that's better, go kill everyone. They don't believe in God like us. They don't believe in the Virgin.
Yeah.
When these guys arrived to Ireland and went to mass,
Yeah.
they failed at home.
Oh, yeah.
Now I recognize that. They have virgins here.
Yeah.
I
They
think
got
we're
loads
going
of
to
virgins.
send. We're going to send letters home. Just send letters saying that we never made it.
Oh, yeah.
We never made it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We stayed here.
I
I like ginger girls.
to this day, there's not a single ferry from Ireland to Spain, yeah?
There is not a single ferry from Ireland to Spain. They would never wanted to go back.
Most definitely not. They went and got their Irishness in there, mate. Yeah. I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh, man.
But I tell you, worst navigators.
Probably.
I've got to say that honestly.
You're
Worst
probably right. Yeah.
When you look at
It's
history,
difficult to argue with that. Actually, yeah.
I don't want to boast of my own nation's achievements, but for God's sake, navigation.
France. I mean, Napoleon. It's too long to talk about it.
What do you mean?
But Napoleon is such a badass in history terms. Anyone who is interested, please read about the 7 times Napoleon defeated all the armies of Europe together.
Yes, he did. That he did.
Here, they have a place to celebrate the Battle of Waterloo.
Yeah. One battle.
One time,
Yeah.
they defeated him.
Well,
Now,
with the
how
help
many-
of other nations, don't forget, with the help of other nations.
I would imagine if Napoleon woke up right now, he would be like,
One time they beat me.
one time they beat me and they make a station about it.
Yeah.
What about the other 6? I fucked them up. Right?
Not mentioned.
Not mentioned to that.
You know.
But I have 2 things I would like to talk to you.
Uh-huh.
I want to ask you. I don't know which one to choose.
Go for it. Ask for both if you like.
One is because among other things, you are a softie.
Microsoft.
Softie. So only that will give us.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? I'm too hammered with this for
Really? Come on.
No, man, and I'm laughing so much. My face hurts. So, but the other day, you came and you asked me about the other thing I would like to talk about because I think hilarious.
Okay, go on then. Go on then.
You came and you told me, have you seen the interview? Have you seen the Meghan interview? I have to ask you about it. What my biggest take,
Yeah.
obviously, apart of all the horrible things, etc., is
Yeah.
the fuck is wrong with English journalists in this country? And I explain myself.
Yeah.
We're talking about Piers Morgan or people like Nick Ferrari.
Mm-hmm.
They are old. They're fucking old men.
Yeah.
Serious journalists.
Supposedly.
With strong, supposedly. Boom. Serious journalists with strong opinions about
everything.
Important political matters relate to the British economy and relations.
Yeah.
Right? But when it comes to talk about the crown,
yeah,
they go full
national,
gossip bitches.
Nationalistic, yeah.
No.
Nationalistic.
It's not nationalistic. They go to the level that people talk in the dresser. Mm-hmm. In the hairdresser, sorry. Mm-hmm. My wife goes to the to the hairdresser and they talk about this thing. Oh, have you seen Meghan? Yeah, she's amazing. That kind of stuff.
That kind of thing, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But I don't expect not two. I'm just mentioning two because they are the most.
There's many more.
That the most impacted me. Going full gossip bitch because they don't like Meghan. What the fuck? What's wrong in this country with journalists?
Because they've always been the voice of the unheard. That's the problem in this country. We have two sections of society. One is the youths who don't read newspapers. They inform themselves via, what's his name, the internet and everything else. Twitter, Facebook, whatever you care to name. So their angle, and in fact, there's such a gap between the generations in this country. There's such a gap in the generations in this country that sometimes you're looking at two tribes living under the same house. You know?
Two tribes?
Literally. When I talk to a teenager, sometimes I'm actually worried that if I get them to talk politically, they might be talking in a different language than English. Do you know what I'm saying? Because you ask them about political stuff and they're like, and non-committal, they're not interested. And I'm thinking, but you're going to be the future leaders of our countries here. You're going to be the ones upon whom I'm going to be depending.
Yes, that's why we are fucked.
I am worried that you guys are not even concerned about what's going on. But I can see their angle because at the end of the day, if you're not asked to actively take part in what's really going on politically in your country, right? You're not even expected to. Why would you be interested in something that doesn't, you're not interested in? Yeah? So that's one angle. Then you have the, what's the name? The Nick Ferrari generation. That's the same generation.
Boomers. No, boomers, no.
They're the baby boomers because they're the children of the baby people of the 60s. These people now still hold on to a view of Britain, which one must say, I don't want to talk on their behalf, but being one from a minority like myself, I have watched British people, English people, because you hear Nick Ferrari and you're thinking, your name's not exactly English, is it? But that's
Ferrari sounds
Italian.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, sounds like Ferrero Rocher. Anyway, the thing is, such people, Piers Morgan, it's not even an English name, Scottish, right? So when you hear all these things and you think, these people are more ardent, wannabe English than even the Scots. And I'm thinking, why are you so ardent? I was born and raised here. So fucking what? Do you know what I mean? We're all born somewhere on this earth. We don't own it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why are you fighting over a cultural ideal which no longer applies in the real world today? You want to be that 90-year-old man sitting on a flipping chair somewhere. How you doing, Mr. Piers Morgan? Yeah, I just hoping to hold the flag. And then the nurse looks at you like, he's still daydreaming. Look at him. What kind of view is that? My grandfather fought the war. Yeah, fought the war. And like that, hold on, you didn't fight the war. No, but I voted for Brexit. I mean, what the fuck? What are you talking about? The world has moved on. They're still holding on because we got a queen, right? You know, okay, for me, don't get me wrong, I am not a royalist, yeah, by any measure. I'm not a royalist.
You are French. I don't expect you to be royalist.
You know, but I can see why the Brits have a royal family, yeah, because without one, they wouldn't know what to do. They tried it, remember, during their civil war. Yeah? They had, what was his name? What's the famous guy? They had a civil war and they chopped the head of Charles I. Yeah?
Yeah, yes, of course.
They had the civil
We're
war.
talking about the dictatorship of
Cromwell.
Cromwell.
Yes. So he was terrible as a dictator. And the British, immediately after he died, decided, oh, let's call back the royal family.
Yeah.
Right? And they
And they thought twice about, okay, well, you know, guys, you just chopped the head of one.
yeah, and
We might not go along,
we don't even have the line anymore because, you know, they got rid of the line, right?
No, they didn't.
They did get rid of the line.
No, they didn't. He had a child.
Yeah, but that was in France. It wasn't.
Yeah, and he came back and he became the next king.
No, he wasn't the next king.
Yes, he was. He was.
he came to
I've been
Scotland.
reading about this particular part.
Really?
Yes, yes.
Who was the next king after Cromwell?
Not Cromwell. Cromwell wasn't king. No, after Charles I was Charles II,
Charles II.
his son.
Okay. Oh yeah.
But the thing is, that point is actually valid in the sense that they had this, they had his son, and then the next one was also a male king, and then they had a first queen, Queen Anne, if I'm not wrong.
Uh-huh.
And then it went to the orange side of the family.
Because they had no children.
There is where the line ends.
Yeah.
And this guy, who was a German guy,
Yeah.
Duke of Orange or
Yeah.
whatever,
Yeah.
he
Who
had
also-
fuck all interest in being king of England.
Yes, but the point is,
Britain.
he was also Dutch.
He stayed over there. He just came here once
Yeah.
to be crowned, and
Yeah.
that's the end
That
of
was
it.
it. Yeah.
So
William of
the
Orange.
parliament took advantage
Yeah.
to regulate and change the law. That's the point. That is the point that makes the crown,
A constitutional monarchy.
yes, and completely useless and powerless.
I think they started during Cromwell.
No, what we did. Whoa! Dude, what are you talking about
Okay,
here?
okay. Imagine Cromwell takes over the country and says, "I'm going to be the what's
Yeah,
the
but
name?
the king
manager or
was
whatever."
the king was abusing his power.
He did.
So what Cromwell did was to balance out.
Balance out. He got rid of it.
At the end, but that was
He got rid of
because Charles was a bit of an idiot. Didn't see it coming. I mean,
No, but the thing is, he was such an idiot. The point is, he got rid of absolute power of the monarchy.
Yeah.
He got rid of it completely, right? Yes. And then basically said, okay, when after I die, we're gonna have a parliament which runs the country, and the king is gonna be king nominally. I mean, whichever becomes king nominally, and that was it. That's basically that was the best. After his death, was the basic establishment of the the constitutional monarchy. Because at the end of the day, everyone that came after him, the king-wise, didn't have the power that they had before.
yes, but no. The actual origin of the constitutional monarchy was when this guy was in Orange,
Yeah.
and he wasn't in England. And meanwhile, the parliament took advantage of his absence to pass a series of laws that
Yeah.
didn't require him to sign, And they basically,
But they finished it off, yeah.
yeah,
Because,
they finished the monarchy in that time. So
Yeah.
what we have today, why people love monarchy today,
Mm-hmm.
is because it's a symbol, it's a resemblance of the British Empire. But that time is gone.
yeah,
It's
but-
long gone. That time ended with the First World War.
yeah.
The Great War ended the British Empire. Well, no.
No,
No.
second.
Wait.
Second.
The British Empire actually never ended. It was renamed as, how they call it now? Commonwealth?
Commonwealth. But it was second. The Second World War that finished it off.
So, but the crown is just a symbol that reminds people of that for some reason, and they love it. I'm not going to criticize people who love the monarchy. I'm not going to go down there because I am kind of monarchy myself.
Yeah.
I love it because I'm somehow connected. So I'm not going to
But
be a hypocrite here.
The
But
question.
my point is that the crown that today has no power at all. So why would you be so strongly opinionated, being a famous journalist? Why would you be so
Passionate about it, yeah.
That is my bigot. My bigot. This is a bigot. Bigote.
Yeah.
Bigote.
Yeah.
I bought this specifically for these things.
Yeah.
Like, why couldn't he choose someone who was, I don't know, ginger or blonde? He had to choose someone who was like, well,
Black.
you know.
Black.
So
But you know full well, I mean, you know where that comes from, right? That fear. That endemic fear of most royalists, conservative, white males. Is
that's
the
actually
fear-
a joke beautifully portrayed by this
What's that?
movie with,
What's that?
what is the name of Jim Carroll?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey, he is me, myself, and Irene,
Yes.
and he has two black kids.
Yes,
That-
yeah.
Somehow they show up out of nowhere.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful portrayal of that joke, actually.
True.
Right, but this the someone in the royal family, Charles, took it seriously, took it to the next level, and he went full like, oh, and what color is he going to be? What color do you think he's going to be, asshole?
But the thing is, at the end of the day,
Have you read about the you know, this priest who was doing experiments with the
colors?
colors of the peas,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So we know about differential coloring in the skin tone changes and jumps in generations.
Yeah.
Mendel
Mendel.
was Mendel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember his name.
Yeah.
Yes, I was good at history in school. Mendel experimented with this thing, so we have an idea that maybe every 2 or 3 generations. So if Archie is a good-looking bastard.
Fucking gorgeous.
Gorgeous. He's
Amazing.
ginger, and I
don't even think it's ginger. It's probably strawberry blonde.
I
as we call it.
wouldn't dare to rate his color scheme. He's just gorgeous.
He's gorgeous, and he's still
His
got that.
son or his grandson might be black,
I think.
but
Archie,
who fucking cares?
no one should really care. But the point is, yes. For me, the real question is, what is the use of a king or queen in a modern nation?
Oh, you are going all futurist now.
But that's the real question.
Yeah, because you don't know. This guy is, among other things, he's a softie, he's an expert in rum, he's a drunk historian that we could call him. And he's also a futurist.
But the fact remains is, what is the validity of a kingdom in a modern society? In a modern digital society?
Oh.
Ask yourself this question: Have you thought of all the other kings and queens of Europe that are still existing right now? The kingdoms of Europe. Holland has a kingdom.
Yes.
The Queen of Holland does not take an active part in most of the politics in their country. They don't even veto the laws of of Holland. Did you know that? They're self-managed. They have their own money. They make their own money, right? They still got the title. They still got the trappings of royalty, but they do not take an active part in running their country, right? What about Sweden? They have a king. You don't hear about them.
The thing about monarchies is a very sad story. Because monarchies used to be a meritocracy.
Meritocracy.
Wait. The Roman Empire came, talk about everything.
Yeah.
And then it disappeared. And when it disappeared, it was a fucking mess. 1,000 years of darkness. That's what they call the Dark Age.
Well, it wasn't 1,000 years, but let's not go that far. Remember, the church was left behind.
Oh, well, yeah, but that doesn't make it better. We're talking about completely chaos.
Yeah.
No control, no law, no order.
Well, yeah. Well, that only lasted a few
People
years.
had to rise. People had to survive by making communities.
Yeah.
And among those communities, little lords will rise by
warlords.
protecting people, by being better at particular things.
Oh, but that's what you forget. You missed the part where the Dark Ages took place. And then there was another level of invasion from that, what do you call a forest in Spanish?
A what?
Forest.
Forest.
Yeah.
Bosque.
Bosque Negra.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah? A bunch of Franks.
Yeah.
Visigoths, Ostrogoths.
That's
a bunch of bastards from the Black Forest.
Where the
landed.
Picards actually come from.
Thank you. They came like a plague. From Germany.
I'm going
and then
to,
went all the way to Spain.
I'm going another way. I'm going to the point where there is this dark age.
Don't forget
People is surviving the best way they can, and locals
warlords
that become local warlords rise.
Yeah.
Because they are good at that thing of
butchering
warfare.
and enforcing their power.
Yes,
it's like having a mafia boss.
Do you see this river, motherfuckers? Do you see this river?
Yeah.
Nobody crosses this river. This is my land. You cross my land, I cut your fucking head. That's how it works.
Yeah.
So they stayed away. And we're talking about the Arabs invading, particularly in the history of the Spanish Peninsula, in the Iberian Peninsula. So they will defend people, and because they defended people very well. Yeah. And they didn't know better because they had forgotten. For God's sake, in this country they thought there were giants, extinguished dead giants that built those roads and those huge bridges and those old palaces. They didn't have history because the church hid the documents.
Oh yeah, they took
course,
them away,
and then they had to say
they
all
feeding in them out.
Yeah,
slowly,
exactly. No, they were giants. Yeah, giants. Yeah, giants. Absolutely.
Yeah. And God then smite them down.
Law? No, law. What's that? Right? No, forget about that. No,
yeah, but you make sure you pay your tithes.
Yeah. Pay your taxes, all of you. Yeah. So that's how it all starts. Yeah. It's a meritocracy in that sense.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to be a king, you do that, don't you?
I'm fucking good with swords. Yeah. I'm going to defend my family, and Pedro's family, and Sancho's family, and Ferdinand's family. Fucking hell, when you stop counting, you are defending 500 people.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do?
Or you get elected, which is even worse.
Oh, no, you know what? Hey, well, hold on a second. In the case of my ancestor, Sancho, Uncle Sancho, he was elected by the noblemen.
There you go, see?
They say, okay, we have the two kids. They actually...
He's a badass. Yeah, fucking get Sancho to run it, man. Come on, now.
It's exactly what happened. They gave it to Sancho.
There you go.
They gave it to Sancho.
Yeah.
Why? Because Sancho was a badass.
Yeah.
They were like, Sancho, the Arabs are invading me.
Yeah.
We can give the crown to two
kids.
Fuck
the kids, come on.
Fuck the kids. Take the sword and take the fucking crown. Yeah. Let's go. Grab it. Let's go to fight the Arabs.
Maybe he might die in the wars with the Arabs.
We're late.
You know what I mean?
And that's how it works. That's
Yeah.
how monarchy rises.
Of course.
Now, in the way, some assholes got it wrong.
Always happens.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah. So there is a cycle that my father calls hunger, feast,
Yeah.
diarrhea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hunger, feast, diarrhea. So
Yeah.
it's like at first people is hunger, is in need. So they thrive. That will equals to that saying of hard time make hard men, and
Yeah.
hard men make easy time, and
Yeah.
easy time make easy men, which provoke hard times again.
Yeah.
And it's a cycle, right?
Yeah.
But this is the same: hunger, feast, diarrhea. So these guys in the Middle Ages, they fought very hard to protect people. But
yeah.
at some point, someone in the line got it wrong and thought, "Yeah, I'm the king. I'm the fucking king. You all do what I say." Because my grandfather was a badass, I get to tell you what to do.
But what about Charlemagne? Carlos Magnus? He rose in the dark times. And he controlled quite a large part of Europe.
Yeah, but he was a badass.
He was a badass. And he was a German-speaking badass.
It's like German speaking has extra points.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. Carlos Magnus was a fucking badass, mate. He came
German
over
speaking.
and then he was like chopping heads off. You know, he was talking, mine shit. And then the people like, chop. And then he realized he can't keep on chopping heads off. You know, and somebody came along and, what's the name? The best example of Carlos Magnus is he realized that, you know, he can't just be a nasty king coming all the way from Germany, invading France, Italy, and all these places. He had to get the church on side, you know, because the people followed the church. So he decided that, you know, it's obviously his rough German language wasn't going down very well with the locals, you know. So he decided that, what are we gonna do? Oh, yeah. You see those fucking French people? They don't understand me at all. It's fucking bastards, right? We need to create a language that they can understand and me, I can understand too, right? So he calls, and this is my theory of how the French language came to be, right? He must have said, you know what? Get me the best linguists amongst the monastic fraternity, right? To come forward and propose to me a language that we can institute for France, right? And he must have thought, okay, Germany has its own language, no problem. Spain has its own language, yeah, no problem. Italy has its own language, yeah, cool. France now, fucking, they don't understand a word of what I'm fucking saying. This fucking bastard. We need to sort this out quick, otherwise we won't be able to manage these bastards. Anyway, so he probably invited a Spanish guy, a Portuguese guy, and maybe one of those Italian monks that knew how to speak Latin and Greek and all them kind of things, yeah? And of course the German one that understood a bit of German, right? So they sat down and they're all producing their own versions, they're all submitting it, and he's like, tell me what the language is. I don't like it, piss off. And it's like, oh yeah, all right. I've had enough of listening to your bullshit. Get together, create me a language. And then they get together and they said, okay, what you gonna do? Oh yeah, let's do the verbs. The Spanish guy created the base, the framework, you know, conjugation, you know, il ou elle, you know, je, te, you know, all that kind of stuff, yeah, you know, je, te, tu, il, elle, you know. You put the structure in, right?
Yeah.
The Spanish guy said, you know what?
Yeah, put the structure in.
Just
then
I'll do the structure, and then that's my job done.
That's my job done.
my
I'm going
job
for
done,
a siesta now.
I don't want to even put a Spanish word in there. Just create the structure. That's it.
Yeah, structure done. Let's
You
go
know,
for a siesta.
Grammatic.
That's it.
I'll give you the grammar. You know, the structure of grammar, the structure of conjugation, what you call abbreviation. Blah. There's a structure. See you later. And then the Portuguese guy came along. Wow. Oh, all I've got left to do is the sound. Yeah, the sound.
But
Yeah.
the sound of the French is kind of fucked up.
Remember the sound. So he talked to the German guy. German guy's like, okay, what kind of sound do you want? Okay, they are similar, like jamon, and the German guy like, what is Portugal, no. Not like that. It's too rough, right? So we need to have a sound.
Soft.
And we
Delicate.
Portuguese, we say re. So let's use the re sound. Okay, let's make that the R sound of our language. So French language will be guttural, but not quite guttural. It'll be more Latin-based guttural, right? So that's one problem solved. And then we throw in a few, chips of words that sound virtually exactly the same thing as in Portuguese. But the German guy says, so what about my language then? Where's my language in all of this? Oh, we got a perfect thing for you. Right? Look at how the words come together and think how it sounds. Je m'appelle, Yeah? Mi nombre es. And say, let's translate it into Spanish and Italian and all that. Ooh, that sounds cool.
Sounds cool.
That sounds cool. Yeah. It's a unique language just for these motherfuckers.
Mi nombre es... No, je m'appelle sounds cool.
Yeah. Sounds cool. Je m'appelle. That's brilliant. Oh yeah, that's a good job. And then of course the Italian came along and said, you know what? All languages in Europe based in Latin and Greek. Come on, Greek, Latin, yeah. So let's put the QUE in there. Let's throw that in there. Boom, boom, boom. Because in French, as you know, it's the only second language to Latin where QUE is the most used noun. Yeah, qual es su nombre, quelcom, all these kind of quelconque, we use it more than the Spanish do, right? Mm-hmm. Funny how that is. That singular fucking letter Q is prominent in the more so than in the Spanish language. Strange, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very strange. And then the Italian said, you know what? Yeah, let's throw the rest. Italian, Greek, Latin and Greek, throw that all in there and fill up the spaces. And that's how the language is actually, and they said, so how do we educate the people? Hey, I've got the best solution for that, mathematics. And do you know why? The French language is the language of maths. And that's the reason why a lot of computational mathematical calculations come from France.
How is French the math?
It's the language of maths. When you're saying, when you start number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, right? And then you do 10, 11. What you say is just 11, don't you? We say 11, yeah? 11. Then you go past those numbers. 12 is 12. You say 12, right?
12, yeah.
When you go 13, you go 13.
13.
We say 13, right?
14.
14, we say 14, right? 15, we say 15, right? 16. Yeah?
16.
You do 10.
10.
S-E-6. We say 16. So 6 with a Z at the end. And then that's when we change, when the two languages almost shadow each other up until it gets to 16 and 17, right? 17, you say 17, right?
17, yes.
Yeah, we say this set. 10 and 7 together, this set. When you reach 18, you say 18, right? We say 18. Then when you hit 19, 19, we say 19. Yeah? So remember, this 10, 9. 10, 9. You carry on like this up until 20. We stop at 20. 20, what do you say? 20, don't you?
20 and 21, 22. Sorry, 21, 22, 23.
So the French language can only be remembered in the back of my head and any Frenchman's head through maths. It's the most apt language for maths because it totally depends on maths. Everything we think when a Frenchman speaks, he's actually calculating.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a good trick.
Well, you know, when you have a language which is completely hidden by maths, yeah, it's there. All our numbers form the entire French language. When we say our numbers in French, all the numbers, it's there. You know, until you get to a billion, where we say we don't even say a billion. We say milliard, right? And then and that's when you guys go straight down, you know, because you don't say a million, do you? A billion.
No, wait, that is completely fucked up. The Spanish billion is a million of millions.
There you go.
So no wonder why our economy is so fucked up if we can't
Because
even
exactly
measure billions
Maths.
like everyone else.
Thank you. You know,
Okay, now I see where you're going.
it's mathematical.
Oh, you smart son of a gun. If you don't handle mathematics well, how the fuck are you going to sail properly?
Thank you. Thank you. See, when your numbers stop at a million billion, wow. You understand this now?
Oh man,
Yeah?
that makes sense. Now it all completes like a circle.
You see?
Yeah, now all connects.
See, how do you trust a Spanish navigator in outer space? He can't calculate the distance between the moon and fucking Mars.
We sent a man to the International Space Station.
yeah.
This guy became very famous in Spain.
Of course.
Now that you say it, his mate up in the station, they probably must be fucking scared. Don't let him pilot. Don't let this guy get close to the fucking controls. Don't. You, Spaniard, you. Get the fuck away of the controls. Go to the toilet. Sit there and shut the fuck up.
Don't navigate, please. Don't navigate. Because can you imagine the importance of maths to the advancement of a civilization? When you move from 1 billion, 1,000 million, right? You stop at a million, right? You stop at 100 million, right? And then suddenly it becomes a million.
Well, I have to defend my.
How do you achieve that?
I have to defend my Spanish counterparts. I mean, a billion is honestly it's a million of millions.
1,000 million.
Well, I'm French, anyways.
Put it on paper and you'll see for yourself. You see what I'm saying?
My surname is Picard. I'm French. Fuck that. I don't want to know.
It's a challenge for the Spanish.
You know, those
isn't it?
fucking Spaniards are crazy, man. They don't even know how to count the money.
This is why the what's his name?
Je suis French. Je suis Picard.
Yeah, but when you
I don't
think
want to know anything about
it's
it.
kind of strange how your whole civilization stops at 1,000 million. Stops at that number. Bam.
Imagine the Colon conquistadors, as you call them,
Yeah.
counting the money.
Oh my lord! Can you
No
imagine?
wonder how the country was bankrupt.
Mm-hmm.
Where is the money of my family, by the way?
Thank you.
No, seriously, where is?
Wouldn't you be worried if your
Well,
banker?
I know where it is. The church took it.
But wouldn't you be worried if your banker could only count up to 1,000 million?
Oh, by the way, fuck! It all connects now. We ejected the Jews in 1492, the same year that the Colon, that Spanish sailor,
Yeah.
found
Yeah.
Asia.
Yeah.
allegedly. We ejected the Muslims. We defeated the Muslims,
Yeah.
the Arabs in Granada, the last kingdom,
The last kingdom.
and we ejected the Jews.
Oh yeah. The best, most skilled accountants you ever had.
That explains everything, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man.
Can you imagine? I've never understood. I've asked myself, why did Spain not realize that they could have billions in their coffers, but they couldn't count past 1,000 million?
Well,
What's this mental block? What happened to it? You know, what happened? The only nation, the only empire on earth that cannot count past 1,000 million. What's going on?
listen, there is a limit. There is a limit
A limit.
to everything. Right? For instance, we cannot pass of 2 hours, 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Because they will run out of space and
Oh,
we will lose
Yeah, that's true. It's true.
everything.
And
so.
you need to order that food. You know. In fact, actually, you could use that argument and turn what's the name? Provide translations on on the
I'm going to use it. You
Yeah.
know how? I have an idea.
you know.
Hi. I know you want me to go back to my country. Click subscribe, click like, and share the video, and you will probably succeed. Anyway, thanks a lot for coming, man.
Yeah.
This was long overdue. I really appreciate it. This is gold. Thanks for coming, and I hope we are going to do this more often.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be fantastic.
We're going to need a lot of this.
Don't you worry. This could stay here, and I'm sure.
Yeah. This thing is especially for these moments.
I will probably encourage you to have some more different rums as well. So
Oh wow!
enjoy this one while you can.
Thank
You
you
know.
very much. You're
You know.
fucking star, man.